Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. This is the TA, FA, MA, and chart analysis, but with a lot of news for March 22nd, 2022. And the markets actually look pretty good today, unless Vladimir Putin goes nuclear. And of course, he's getting a little bit more desperate every day. In fact, his foreign minister, aside from the day before yesterday, where he threatened to cut off all diplomatic relations with the United States, his foreign minister has refused to rule out the use of nuclear weapons. So, under what circumstances would we start World War III nuclear style? If Russia sees an existential threat to its country. Now, we don't really know what that kind of threat would that be. Would it actually be just like someone is trying to invade Russia? Or would it be like, well, we're losing in Ukraine, we don't really have any other choice. Vladimir Putin's political career is going to be ruined if he doesn't win in Ukraine, so we're going to use these nuclear weapons. So we don't really know what the existential threat actually is. If it's like the later, whereas like Putin sees his political career in danger, so he's willing to go all out, then there's a decent chance of that happening. However, if it takes like someone to actually invade Russia to be considered an existential threat, I really don't think that's happening at all. I see very, very little, if any, chance of that actually happening. However, we don't really know which one we're actually talking about when it comes to our good old bloody Vlad. So that's definitely still on the table. Him escalating it even to tactical nuclear proportions would be really bad and would actually crash the market. And otherwise, like the markets, I think, have adjusted to actually like oil being in the 110s. And also, even with the Fed rates seemingly going to be higher than originally thought, the market has definitely adjusted. Because now I think the market is pricing in the likelihood of not a 25 basis point hike, but indeed of a 50 basis point hike. I think even with that in, both the DJIA, the S&P, and the NASDAQ have actually gone up. So even with a 50 basis point hike coming in May, if that happens, like the stock market isn't going down and the crypto market is following. And the crypto market had other good news today. Goldman Sachs is going to act as a principal kind of like actor in OTC trades. Now, I do think banks have been trading OTC for a while, but not as the principal actor. They've always gone through some kind of third party or something that like doesn't really directly involve them. But Goldman Sachs has actually stepped up the plate and is willing to be a principal actor for its clients in trading crypto OTC. This is the first big North American bank to actually do this. So mainstream adoption is happening all over the place, and we should not overlook the greatness of something like this happening. Mainstream adoption is definitely happening. However, like I said, anything that Putin does will affect the market, and if he decides to actually go nuclear, we could be in a lot of trouble. Maybe put the chance at like 15%, but we don't know what he defines as an existential threat to Russia or to just himself. Now, if you actually look at the BTC USD graph, we are crawling slightly higher. On the 5-day graph, it looks fairly impressive, although we are now down at $42,400. But if you really look at the 5-day graph, you can easily see it's up. And we were down here around this level, just dribbling around, and now we're up here at this level, dribbling around. So obviously this level is going to be much higher than this level. On the 1 month, like I said yesterday, this is not all that impressive. It is actually really nice that we've actually gotten past the top point around the 9th of March, but we still aren't at the top point around the 3rd of March. And the 3rd of March top point is really where I want to see us get past. If we actually get past our 3rd of March top point, then we can march higher to 50,000 or above. If you look at the 3-month graph, really the 3rd of March top point and really the 10th of February top point at around 46,000 is where I want to see us above, because that is actually where we were before the war started. And recovering above 46,000 for a couple of days would actually indicate to me that people have fully priced in this war. They fully priced in the consequences outside of nuclear, obviously, and that they're actually ready to actually buy more. Volume hasn't really been all that high lately, but I think if we can get the $50,000 mark, it will actually be higher. But $46,000 is the point that we are all looking at right now, because that would indicate that at least we have pre-war interest levels. And realistically, if you look at the graph, pre-war interest levels in February, like the volume was starting to sort of recover based on January and December, but then kind of like the war kind of completely dumped it downward here. And we basically have been in quagmire for the last month. But now if they fully priced everything in and we reach those levels again, I think it's some cause for celebration, at least a little bit, to signal that we might actually be going higher. So $46,000, and I think we can reach that within the next 2 or 3 months if we don't go nuclear on this war, obviously. On the technical numbers, on the daily, all the oscillators are actually neutral. The exponential moving average and the SMAs are pretty much a buy all the way down to the 50, and even the 100 SMA is a buy. However, the 200 remains a sell, and the 50 EMA remains solidly below the 200 EMA. So that signal has definitely not been flipped yet. We would actually require about $46,000, $47,000 for at least a few days to actually flip that and get that golden cross. So that's the one you want to be looking for if you are actually bullish. Right now, I do think it is a bit of a bull trap still over the last few days. I do think there is a chance that we'll go down to about the $41,000 level from here. I think we might bottom out around $41,000 and then go back up afterwards, hopefully to $43,000, $44,000. It will take us quite a while, I think, to get us above the $46,000 level. On the weekly, I am also not very bullish on the weekly. I do think like we are set up for a little bit of a drop, especially as oil keeps moving higher, and maybe Putin will issue some very much stronger warnings coming. All the oscillators are pretty much neutral. The EMA and the SMA for the 10 are buy, but the rest of them are sell. I definitely need to see the $46,000 mark before I really convert to buy at this point. But I do think like we've actually been going up over the a little bit over the weekend and end of last week. So I do think we're going to sell off a little bit. There's probably some momentum for bullishness, but the up and down, I think, pattern will actually maintain for a while. So I'm a little bit bearish for the rest of the next week. Plus, the futures are expiring on Friday, and that usually kind of tapers off any kind of real rally, at least until Friday night. So that's kind of where I am on the weekly. On the monthly, not really all that bullish yet. I think next month I might actually be bullish for April going into May, unless Putin does something bad. But right now in the monthly, I'm not really all that bullish. I am very neutral on the monthly. So the RSI, the stochastic, and the commodity channel index are all neutral. And the EMA and the SMA for the 10 are still on a sell for the 10 months, although we are getting closer to it. Once again, we haven't passed 46,000, so that still has to be on a sell. And I don't think we're going to get past it in March. Maybe late April would probably be the earliest I see us getting past that specific mark. So I'll probably be a little bit more bullish into April going into May, especially after the second interest rate hike, and that comes down in May. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.